Please welcome our guest this evening, Mr. Daymond John. Come on, y'all, give it up for Mr. Daymond John. All right, so we are just excited about you being here because it has been a 3-year journey to get you here.
Yeah.
Yes, 3 years, and
you guys were very, very persistent.
We're very persistent. We've hounded him because I think that your story is one that I think young people in our programs and young people around the city of New York, young people globally, can really identify with, because you started with absolutely nothing, really, a rags to riches story. Can you tell us a little bit about your background?
Yeah, so for everybody here from Brooklyn, I was born in St. John's Hospital, and almost every summer, I was over here on McDonough between Patchen and Reed, on the streets playing stickball and things of that nature. And then I also lived in Queens with my parents, and my father's from Trinidad. All right. And my he stands up with that one. And my mother's an African American woman, and they taught me about, working very hard and things of that nature. And then my parents got divorced when I was around 10. And my father left, and I never saw my father any time after that. But I really started to, I wanted to work at that time. So I worked as many things I could. I would shovel snow in the winter, rake leaves in the fall and things of that nature. And I started to learn from all these people I worked for. And I wanted to have a business.
So you were always interested in being an entrepreneur?
I always wanted to be an entrepreneur, but I didn't know what an entrepreneur was then, because, many of us in our neighborhoods, we're entrepreneurs. We're bartering, we're selling something, and we are entrepreneurs. We just don't categorize ourselves as that until lately, right? And then I was coming up, and I went to IS 238, and then I went to Bayside High.
Bayside Highway. High school, yeah.
That's right. And when I was in Bayside, I met a couple of other guys that were my friends in school, because we all have our little crew of guys. And then this music, it's almost like the way Twitter is today. This music called hip hop started coming around. And we actually would call it almost like a disruptive technology, like Twitter and Instagram, because at that time, hip hop wasn't big like it was today. But at that time, we started to hear about other kids of the world with their hopes and their dreams and their aspirations, and we were communicating through this music. This is the only way we would get to hear this, because we wouldn't see other African Americans on the news, not portrayed in a good light,
Absolutely.
Any things of that nature. So we started communicating through this music, and then we started wearing clothes from designers that really didn't understand hip hop. So if I wanted a colorful ski jacket, I would have to pay $700 for a ski jacket with Gore-Tex in it and all that stuff. I don't need that. I'm just trying to have a colorful ski jacket.
Absolutely.
Right? So we started also hearing that designers didn't want us to wear their clothes at that time. And there was no other African-American designer besides a company called Cross Colors and Carl Kanai, which really was the inspiration to us.
Yes.
Right?
And Carl Kanai was, I think, one of the biggest designers that was out there at the time. Yeah.
Yeah. So we started to wanted to be like Carl Kanai, and we wanted to, and then we wanted to make our own clothes. So we started making hats. And I remember the first day that we ever sold it was 1989 on Good Friday, around 3:00 in the afternoon. We stood outside the Coliseum Mall in Jamaica, Queens, and we were selling the hats on the corner. It's hats that we made by our hands, and I sold like about $800 worth of hats in one day.
Wow.
All right, and I remember at that time that I was like, wow, this is something. So we started doing T-shirts and things of that nature, and then we really started to follow another really local hero that I don't think that gets enough respect and acknowledgement in the community, named Ralph McDaniels with Video Music
Box.
Right.
Yes. I think they're still on the air today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Ralph at that time, I don't care who you are, any rapper, any singer, if you wanted to have a hot video, you had to go to Ralph, right? I don't care if you're Diddy, Jay-Z, they all begged Ralph to be on Video Music Box. And we begged him also to maybe highlight us. And he went and he put us on a little interview on us and said, these are the guys to look out for. And after he did that, you know, we started to hopefully, you know, go down to like LL Cool J and all the people that we kind of knew. They lived in the neighborhood and, you know, and asked them to be part of it. And because you're part of a community, they started to become part of that, and it started to grow from that point on.
Now, I remember that famous Gap commercial.
Yeah.
And I think many of us didn't catch it until later on, but LL Cool J said, for us, by us. And we didn't catch on until maybe a couple of years later when you guys really started to blow up. But tell us about that.
Yeah, so it was a time when we didn't have much money, but LL Cool J was helping us, and he was part of the company, and he went and did a Gap commercial, and he put For Us, By Us in a Gap commercial, and it really meant FUBU, obviously. And the Gap spent about $30 million airing that commercial, and they basically aired a FUBU commercial.
Did you guys get in trouble afterwards when they found out?
They cut the commercial after they found out. But in the Gap's defense, you know what they did? And this is about how you do analytics and study. They realized that the market they were trying to hit increased 300% because the kids thought they can get FUBU in the Gap.
Wow.
So then they re-aired the commercial.
Wow.
Very smart, right?
Very smart.
You would think it's a setback, but it wasn't. It was a win.
It was a win.
For everybody.
Wow. So you guys got into this commercial, the Gap commercial. You got LL Cool J to really co-sign for you all. And then from there, what happened? I believe you guys got an order from Macy's.
So we went out to something called the Magic Show. It's a trade show in Las Vegas where we go out and we show our clothes to all the big retailers.
Mm-hmm.
And we had about $300,000 in orders. Now, we didn't go to the show itself. We slept in a little hotel room, and the retailers came to us. And I came back, and I took a loan in the house, and we turned our house into a factory.
Wow.
And then I took an ad in the newspaper. My mother actually took it, and it said something like, $1 million in orders need financing. And a bunch of people called. And one of the people who called was the president of the textile division of Samsung. And they called, and we ended up doing a deal with them. And that's when FUBU really, really took off.
Wow. So your mom believed in you so much that she mortgaged her house.
Correct.
I mean, at that time, what did that feel like to know that your mom was going to mortgage her house? Did you feel?
I mean, there was a lot of pressure, but my mother and I, we both worked in the house. But you have to think about it like this. Everybody, we all have ideas. But what I had was $300,000 in orders. So the concept was, we'll mortgage a house, we'll take out whatever money we can, but then as soon as we sell the orders, we'll put the money back in the house.
Pay it back.
And that's very important when you have an idea or a concept, that you have to have some level of sales or acknowledgement. Now, maybe you're somebody in this room and you don't have money to create the product, but if you do a YouTube video and you get 10,000 people liking it, and you do a YouTube video on your iPhone, right? And everybody likes the concept, you could then take that concept over people and say, look how much traction I'm getting on it.
Mm. And this generation, this is the generation of social media. Right. So everything is at the tip of your hands and the tip of your fingers. And I don't think they really, sometimes I don't believe that our young people understand how much power they have with social media. Because I grew up, I don't want to tell my age, but right. We didn't have social media when I grew up. So
in my new book is I highlight a kid that I met in I met him in Los Angeles. I was at a hotel and I go down to the lobby, and this kid walks up to me and asks me, can I help him become a rap star? And I said, no, I can't really do that. I make t-shirts for a living. And he said, okay. So we go out to the parking lot. I love telling people the story. And our cars get pulled around, and he has the brand new Aston Martin. So I look at the kid and I go, and the kid is about 18 years old. I said, wow, you got a really expensive car. It looks like you're doing good as a rap artist. And he said, no, I have 100,000 people that follow me on Instagram. I'm a fine graphic artist. And what I do every single Monday is I time-lapse me painting a shirt. I put it up on Instagram, and I say, you can only find this shirt and buy this shirt for the next 24 hours. That's it. It's $50. Whether you buy one, 50, 100, it doesn't matter. You're never going to see this shirt again. Everybody that likes the shirt prepays for it. On Tuesday, I take it to the screen printer. We copy the screens. And on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I mail all the shirts out, and I do it all over again every single Monday. I said, how much are you doing business this year? He said, $1.2 million.
Wow.
So that's the power of social media.
Yes.
Now, getting up to the 100,000 followers, you have to find that niche and those people that follow you. If you're just obviously using social media for jokes and funny stuff, that's fine. But there's ways to actually monetize, what you're doing on a daily basis.
Absolutely. And I think it's important for our young people to understand that you have so much power in the palm of your hand. I don't think that sometimes they really realize how much they have. So let's go back to the FUBU story, because this is very intriguing to me. Did you think FUBU would be successful? I mean, you got that $800 in orders, and then you went to Magic, and you 300,000. But did you think that it would become this global iconic brand?
No, not at all. So I thought that Keith and I and my other two partners, Carl and Jay, we thought that maybe we would. First of all, we were having fun selling the clothes, and we love seeing people wear the clothes, and we thought maybe we'd have a boutique, and that was it. But we never let anybody hold us back, and because anytime that I wanted to quit, Keith didn't let me quit, or I wouldn't let him quit, and things of that nature. That's why we decided that we surrounded ourselves with just like-minded friends, and we had to basically cut off a lot of friends that weren't part of what we were doing. And a lot of our friends ended up getting in trouble, and we didn't want to be part of that. One of our friends is the guy that they wrote the movie Belly about, because he was a close friend of ours, but we didn't want to participate in all that stuff he did, so we decided to go start making clothes.
That's interesting, because one of the skills that we teach is positive decision making and making smart choices. And it's important that in life you make smart choices, and you made very smart choice to disassociate yourself with people who might at some point be detrimental to what it is that you were doing. So,
and oddly enough, at 14, 15 years old, the other people that we started to hang out with who were like-minded people, one of them always wanted to be in video and film, and the other wanted to be a DJ. And so the DJ guy it was Irv Gotti, who was murdered.
Wow.
And the video guy is Hype Williams.
Wow.
And it was all of us at 14, 15 years old that we all decided we weren't going to, fall to the bad things that may be out there.
Wow, that's very impressive. And all of you are successful in your own right. So that's amazing. One of the qualities that we teach is time management. And so in running your day-to-day operations, how do you manage your time? I mean, tell us about how a day in the life of Daymond John.
I mean, that's probably the biggest challenge, is because of your time and managing time. So, if I wake up in the morning, I read my goals, and goals are, they range from 1 year goals to 5 years to 20 years. Then I do as many calls and emails as I can at the house, and then I go to the office. And if I would work at the office till maybe 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night, and I probably go out to a dinner and then do it all over again starting at 9, probably go to bed about 2, 3 o'clock. But I travel around the world fairly often, so I fly about 225 days of the year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why do you read your goals every day?
Well, because if you don't, you have to set goals, because you constantly convince yourself and visualize where you want to be. But it's very important to read goals, because if you don't read them, then you honestly let other people tell you your goals for you. We all know the people who tell us that we're never going to graduate, or we never can be successful, or we never can get that job or get that education. And often that's people around us, or they say, you're going to embarrass us, you're going to embarrass yourself. So if you don't have a set plan of goals on what you're going to do, then you let other people set the goals for you.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think that to add to what you're saying, your goals is really your dream and your vision for your life. And so when you are able to really look in and look into your heart and into your mind and understand what it is that you want to do, then you can then structure your goals around your dreams and your vision.
You have to be able to visualize yourself there.
Absolutely.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
That's good. That's good. You know, when I think about your success and, you know, you went to Bayside High School. When you was in school, what type of student were you?
I was good at math, science, and things of that nature, but I'm dyslexic, and I didn't know until 10 years ago I was dyslexic. So I really wasn't that good at reading and English. So I was in a co-op program. I would work 1 week in the city, and then I would go to school every alternative week. Is anybody in here dyslexic that you know of? Not yet. You don't.
Not yet.
No, me, because I didn't know one over there. Because I didn't know till I was 35 years old.
I think I read
You know how
somewhere-
many of the sharks are dyslexic? Who wants to take a guess how many of the sharks are dyslexic? No, 4.
4 of the 5 sharks, or
6.
was there
It's 6 of us. Yeah.
are dyslexic.
Yeah.
Wow. And I think I heard that you found out you were dyslexic on the show of Shark Tank, or something.
A little bit earlier than that. Yeah, I found out I was dyslexic.
Wow.
So dyslexia, 20% of the entire world is dyslexic.
So can you tell us, share with us, what is dyslexia?
So dyslexia it comes in various forms, but dyslexia is you don't absorb the information the same exact way, and sometimes when you read things, you see them backwards or you find them challenging to read. You know, I found out honestly from the GPS, every time it said turn right, I turned left. All right. Some forms of dyslexia, and again, you would have to get yourself tested, are that if you read things, you fall asleep fairly quickly. You get very tired when you read things. When you write things, you'll see things backwards sometimes. So there's 50 million dyslexic Americans, and only, I think, something like 4 million are aware of it.
Wow, wow. And so during your time in school, you didn't know you was dyslexic, but you always knew that there was something. Did you ever think that there was something wrong, or?
I always found it challenging, you know, but dyslexia, you know, it's not, you know, a lot of us are afraid of somebody calling us dumb or stupid, right? 7 of the presidents were dyslexic. Einstein, who was one of the most brilliant men in the world, was dyslexic, right? Will Smith, Tom Cruise. Many people are dyslexic. Like 40% of entrepreneurs are dyslexic. So it's not that it's just a different form of absorbing the information. And nobody could ever make me feel stupid, because my mother always made me feel like I was the most special person in the world, and my friends always made me feel like there's nothing wrong with you. So that's why I can openly talk about it, because there's nothing wrong with me, obviously.
Absolutely. There's absolutely nothing wrong with you. So after high school, you decided not to go to college, and that was because you wanted to follow your dream as an entrepreneur?
No, it was actually a big mistake. So I decided I was going to take a year off, and I thought I was smarter than everybody.
You said it was a big mistake.
Big mistake. Because I took a year off of college, and I thought I was smarter than everybody. And I said to myself, I was buying at that time crash cars, and then we would put them together. So I would buy it for $3,000-$4,000. I'd put it together and sell it for hopefully $8,000-$9,000. So I had my plan all set. I'm going to buy this one, then I'm going to buy 5, then 10, and then I'm going to be a millionaire by the time I'm 20. I had the plan all set. And then when I was I was about 22, all the kids that I made fun of that were going to college, and I thought I was smarter than, I was a waiter in Red Lobster, and they were coming back from college, and I was waiting on them.
Wow.
And then I didn't feel that smart then.
Wow.
And the reason why it's a big mistake is because, as you see, many basketball players, a lot of winners, you know, many basketball players are bankrupt 3 years outside of the league.
Absolutely.
The reason for this is because I didn't get at that time financial intelligence. And no matter what business you're in, it's hard enough to make money, but it's 10 times harder to keep it. And because I didn't have that financial intelligence, I almost lost FUBU several times.
Wow.
And I had almost went bankrupt several times until I went and I acquired financial intelligence.
Well, and how did you do that?
Well, I took some classes, but I read as much as I could. And then thank God I have a lot of great partners and people around me that would, you know, I taught me, but it took me 15 years to learn it. When I went into college, I could have learned it in a fraction of that time.
Wow. So I think what you're saying is that education is important, because, as you said, you almost lost your business several times because you didn't have some of the know-how to keep it going. Yeah,
you often see that on Shark Tank. People come up there and they just don't understand their numbers because they don't have financial intelligence, and they're not wrong for that. If you don't go to college and you don't understand what you don't know what you don't know.
Wow, that's good. That's good. So, how did you get on Shark Tank? Tell us about that, because it was very exciting when I saw first and foremost, I saw you on Shark Tank, but the fact that you are a man of color, and it was just exciting to see somebody who had come up from the ground up be represented on Shark Tank as a multimillionaire investor. So how did that happen?
You know, I decided to pay it forward and give back as much as I could, and I started going on to shows like CNBC, MSNBC, and Donnie Deutsch
Yes.
on those shows, and Mark Burnett and the producers of Shark Tank. Shark Tank is a show that comes from a format called Dragon's Den. It's already the #1 show in Japan, London, and Canada, and they were bringing it to America, and they wanted sharks. So they saw me on the show, and they said, "Why don't you come on over here and talk to us?" And then they said I was going to spend my own money on the show, and I hung up on them. And you know when you tell somebody no, they want you even more, right?
Yes.
And then I said, okay, I'll do it, because you know FUBU was dying at the time. We had just acquired Coogee, married to them, some other brands, Willie Esco, I think, some other brand. We had just acquired them, but they weren't taking off just yet. And so I said, I'll do it. But then they said I couldn't do any other show but theirs. But I'd already promised 3 of my friends that I was going to be a mentor, because they were going to have a show, you know, on cable, and I was going to be on their show 3 times for like 9 minutes total.
Wow.
And then they said, you can't do the show. You can't do a Shark Tank if you're going to be on this other show. So I said, thank you, but I'm a man of my word, so I have to pass. That made them want me even more. Then I got a call from the producer, because they said, hey, I heard you're giving up an ABC show because you're on a show called The Kardashians or something like that, and nobody will ever hear of these girls.
Wow.
Right? So, and then Khloe Kardashian made sure that they let me go from the show, because she found out I was giving up Shark Tank because of her.
Wow.
And she said she would never get in my way.
So I think I read that you have invested over $7 million of your own money in Shark Tank's projects. Is that?
It's money, time, effort, staff, things like that. Yeah.
Wow. What to date, what is your most successful investment on Shark Tank?
Well, there's a couple of them, because they're successful in various different ways. So one of them is called Al Bubba Baker's boneless ribs.
Yes, I love that. Yeah.
Another one is Bomba's socks.
Bomba socks, yes.
Another one is Sun Stashes. If you ever see Justin Bieber, he runs around these crazy looking glasses.
Yes.
That's them.
And I think you brokered the deal with Marvel. With
Marvel,
them?
yes.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
For the eyeglasses.
Those are a couple of the more success. Oh, the recent one that's been doing really amazing is called 3 Jerks Jerky, beef jerky.
Okay, I didn't see that episode, so. Yeah. Wow, that's great. That's great. And how's Mo's bow ties?
Little Mo's bows.
Little Mo, yes. How's he doing?
He's brilliant. Mo is quite. He reminds me of my mother and I, and they don't really need me. They are off to the races. Mo, I think for the NBA draft, he was the fashion correspondent and things like that.
Wow.
He's really good guy.
And for those of you who don't watch Shark Tank, Mo is an 11-year-old.
I think he's 13 now.
He's 13-year-old entrepreneur, and he came on Shark Tank, and he convinced Daymond to invest in his bow tie.
No, just mentor him. I just mentor him.
Oh, just mentoring in his bow tie collection. Yep. And did you wind up investing at some point, or just mentoring him?
No, Kevin O'Leary was going to give him an offer, and I said, don't take that offer, but I'll mentor you for free.
Wow, wow. And so I think he's doing pretty good.
Yeah, he's done like about $300,000 now.
$300,000 in business at 13 years old. I think that deserves a round of applause. So you have won countless awards, and you know, I think about all of your accomplishments, and what do you say when you look back over your life and you think things over and you say, you know, how did I make it this far? What do you say when you think about your success? What do you say to yourself?
You know, I think that if somebody would have told me what I had to do to get to this position in life, I would have said, I'd rather not.
Really?
But it's because I'm around amazing people that I love, and I'm doing something I love. Like, I would address somebody for free forever. I just love seeing people dress. You know, it's like educating people. Like, you will do this because you have a passion. And because I love what I do, I don't look at it as a job. And that's said so many times, so many different ways by so many people. But if you really have a passion and love what you do, you absolutely don't look at it day by day. And then, you know, you get to be my age, you turn around and go, wow, you know what? I've had a great time doing it.
So you have a book that
Yep.
you just written,
Yeah.
and it's called The Power of Broke, and you all are going to get a copy of it. And
Right.
yes,
Thank you. Thank you.
and The Power of Broke is a fascinating book about how empty pockets, a tight budget, and a hunger for success can become your greatest competitive advantage. So tell us about The Power of Broke.
So this book was created for really all the people in this room who people have told them you need money to make money. You have to have friends or know people in this type of position. And this book is a breakdown of how you don't need that and how you can use what you have, you know, within your possession to go out and accumulate, hopefully, success or wealth. And again, wealth and money don't equal success. You know, success is doing what you want to do every single day. And in this book, I didn't just write about myself. So I interviewed 20 people that are game-changing people. I interviewed in there Steve Aoki, who obviously is a really well-known DJ. And you look at him, and somebody said to me, well, Steve Aoki's parents had money, but that actually hindered his success, because when he went to the streets and he was trying to play music and be a DJ, they would say, take your little rich boy home,
Yes,
you know, go home, right?
absolutely.
You're not keeping it real. His dad, on the other hand, said, if you don't stop that music stuff, I'm going to cut you off. I'm not going to give you a dime. And he stopped dealing with his father. And he ends up now, the man, you know, Steve Aoki does $30 million a year being a DJ.
Being a DJ.
Right? And he has songs with Little John and everybody. And then I have in there somebody like Kevin Plank, the guy who created Under Armour. They said it could never be done. You couldn't take on Adidas, Reebok, and Nike. And Kevin Plank will do $4 billion this year alone in Under Armour.
Well, I want to say thank you to Kevin, because when we started the I Will Graduate campaign, they challenged our trademark, because I will. And they said, as long as we say graduate, we could have the trademark.
Exactly.
So thank you, Kevin.
Yeah. And there's a girl there named Acacia that I love. Acacia was bullied in school. And Acacia, right around the age of 13, 14, was severely bullied, where nobody would sit and talk to her and things of that nature. And she started taking pictures of herself and posting them up online and on social media. And she is the one who created, for the most part, the selfie. And she has about 15 million people that follow her now. So I show every aspect of life in there, and the people how they didn't have anything, and they tapped into their surroundings, and they became who they are today.
That's amazing, because I think you can give a round of applause for that. You said tapped into what was inside of them, tap into their creative genius.
Yeah.
That thing inside them that that is there just waiting to get out. And when you tap into that, what other steps do you have to take in order for you to be successful?
Well, first of all, you're going to learn that you're going to fail way more than you're going to succeed. You're also going to find out that you have to take affordable steps. Don't go and try to build Rome in a day. Take one step forward, one step forward, one step forward. You got to surround yourself with like-minded people. You got to do your analytics and dig into what you're doing and understand the history of it, because you're never going to create anything new in this world again. You're just going to create another form of delivery or find another customer. You know, Facebook is, when we were pen pals, years ago, or Twitter, I always joke and say it was a note on a pigeon's leg a million years ago. It's not, you're never going to create anything new. So, and once you do that, you do all those things that you're doing up something you really love. I'm not guaranteeing that you're going to be successful, but you have the best shot at it.
Hi,
Hi.
my name is Zara, and I was wondering, what's your favorite thing that you invested in the show Shark Tank?
Favorite thing, because there's a difference in what's more profitable and what's favorite. I think my favorite thing is something called Titan vest. It's a vest that looks like a weighted, you almost look like a superhero in it, but it's a weighted vest that you can wear working out. So that's my favorite one. I guess because I use that more than any of the other products.
Hey, Mr. John.
How are you?
I'm Chris. I'm another freelancer, but I don't do makeup. I do web design and mobile app development. And so I've been programming for a while. I've started a freelance web design business, an educational technology startup, and now I'm working on a financial technology startup. And basically, what I wanted to ask you is if you could be sort of a mentor to me. I would love to learn from your years of entrepreneurial experience and business expertise.
So the reason why I put all the books together and I do this is because I don't have physical time, because I haven't seen my own daughters in 2 months. Really, they're in North Carolina. Actually, they don't want to see me either. They're busy in school, right? They're happy. We try to mentor students. If you are going to college and you're getting credit and you become an intern at our company, you get to work with my staff. So how many years until you are in college?
I'll be going into college next year.
Okay, so what you can do is I'll have her send out the information for to intern, and that's when you don't have to just be mentored by me, but my staff is there, and you'll be there every day, especially if you're doing web design and things of that nature. Actually, one of my staff members will see who you are, and they'll come over to you now in a little while after this, and then you'll be working at the company, and hopefully you'll learn a lot more.
Awesome, thank you.
Okay, my name is Xavier. Last year I had a business. We made over $200, but when my business started making a lot of money, people started to try and copy and make other businesses. I wanted to ask if people ever try to copy your business, and if they did, what did you do about it?
That's an excellent question. Good job.
Very
Good job.
So if people try to copy your business, that means you're onto something good. And the thing is that they say that people copying is a compliment, but it is very frustrating. But you also can't be the only person in that business. You need areas and competitors because they make you stronger. Also, they help create basically a system where people start to like it. So like if there was only one person on Instagram, who would care, right? But you want people talking about Instagram and social media. So when we created FUBU, first of all, I'm sure Kalk and I and Crosscodes weren't happy, right? And then when Puffy came over to me and he wanted me to help him with Sean John, I helped him with Sean John because I knew I was never going to be able to stop him. When Russell Simmons came over to me and wanted me to help him with Fat Farm, we distributed Fat Farm in Europe for him because we know we wouldn't be able to stop him. So I'd rather work a little bit. We call them frenemies, right? But you need to work in the same industry. But they also test you. It's almost like when you're going to play sports. Are you really mad that somebody's going to test you and give you a good game? So that's how you deal with it. And in FUBU, we had a lot of competition, and the worst competition is not like Puffy and Russell, who I respect. It was the people who actually counterfeited our stuff and put FUBU on something that wasn't theirs. Well, it's gonna happen, and you're gonna have to deal with it, and you're gonna have to be just as you're gonna have to work harder and out hustle them.
Tell us one or two things that you want these young people to know. And if it's anything that they can remember about today with Daymond John, what would that be?
If I had to tell you guys something, and listen, when I was in school and people would come and speak to me, I think they would tell me things that I could tell you now, but at my age now, it's you're gonna take a while to get to that point. So let me ask them, how many people here are on social media? Raise your hands. Social media, Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram. All right. So So let me tell you something. You're in a very rare time in history where you can take this cell phone right here and you can make millions and millions of dollars. Now, I'm not going to go and say right now, go out and make millions of dollars off this, because that may be too daunting or too big of what I'm trying to tell you. But right now, I pay in my company people over $30,000, $40,000 who just know how to do social media. That's right now. That means that if you will know how to operate Instagram and all those things and find little markets and do great videos and put content on there, every single company in the United States are going to need to hire 1 to 50 individuals like you that just understand social media. Now, if you want to, and you're in gaming and things of that nature, that's really coding, and that's where the entire world is going. And Apple says that they don't have enough people in America that they can hire. And Apple is responsible for more millionaires from a company standpoint than anybody else. So you're in a very rare time where it doesn't have anything to do with your color. It has nothing to do with anything else besides if you're going to actually learn how to operate this new world we're in and make a living out of it, that you could then do whatever you want to do and follow your dreams, okay? So I would highly suggest you guys start to learn the business side of what you can do with social media and programming.
I want you all to give a big round of applause to Mr. Daymond John.
Thank you. Thank you.